I'm Better Call Chad, and this is gonna be May lawn care for St. Augustine grass. If you like my videos, please show me by liking, subscribing, and check out my website at bettercallchad.com. Let's get right into this video. Now, May is when the heat starts to come in, and you really need to keep a good eye on the lawn. Now, this is a great time of year to do your first round of spoon feeding the lawn, which means we're gonna use a lot of micronutrients and even a very low amount of nitrogen. So things like milorganite, just micronutrient packs, the 500 micro blender, all great things to apply this time of year. Now, because we should have already applied our spring fertilization, and the St. Augustine should be in a pretty good growth state. Not maybe quite summer, but very close to getting in summer. So this last spoon feed with the micronutrients are like iron, magnesium, sulfur, zinc, copper, things like that, is gonna help get it to that next level where it's almost into the full summer. Those micros will give it the iron, will give it the color, the little bit of extra nitrogen, and all the other micros will push it to that next stage of nice, thick summer lawn growth. Now, if your lawn's not quite where you want to be and you've already applied the spring fertilizer, and if you haven't applied the spring fertilizer, go ahead and do now before it gets way too hot. But if you've already applied the spring fertilizer and you're going, well, Chad, I don't feel my lawn is actually close to that summer stage at all. I haven't gotten much growth. Maybe you applied too early and a cold front came in, or things could have happened, and that's okay. What I would recommend in this state is apply your spring fertilizer one more time at half the rate you applied it, and see what type of results you can get after that. Now, after 30 days, you've applied your spring fertilizer twice and we're still not getting results, you have deeper issues. You have soil issues, compaction, root rot, drought, something else is going on. And in that case, please check out my other videos to identify what issues you could possibly be having. But for the rest of us, that first round of spoon feeding the lawn is now. If you want even more details about the spoon feeding or even the spring fertilization, check out my fertilization playlist. I have tons of very detailed videos of how much and when to use these macro and micronutrients on my channel. Now, this is definitely the time of year where you're gonna see pests come out in all zones. And chinch bugs, by far, is gonna be your biggest issue. Now, you're gonna have some grubs and mole crickets and things like that, but chinch bugs are gonna be the biggest pest that you're gonna be fighting right now. And especially my down south people, this is a great time to apply the preventative. And I like to tell people, no matter what zone you're in, from Florida to Texas, now is a great time to apply preventative because the chinch bugs are actively gonna start coming out, and that preventative can last from 30 to 60 days in the lawn. So now is a great time to apply a preventative insecticide, and chinch bugs is what you want to keep the eye out. So if you see weird, make sure you check out my video about chinch bugs and keep watching that lawn. If you see spots that look like it could possibly be chinch bug damage, you need to get on that right away. Now, for fungus, gray leaf spot fungus is going to be absolutely the biggest fungus issue we're going to be seeing coming up, and pretty much from now throughout the entire summer. Now, gray leaf spot mainly comes up when we get heavy rains and water, and it's just those gray spots on the leaf blade. Now, a lot of the time, it actually moves so slow that you're mowing the grass before it can do severe damage. But if we get tons of rainfall, or if you feed the lawn, you will have a bigger issue with this fungus. Now, that's why it's really important to spoon feed it. Look, if you missed your spring fertilization, you need to give it that food, so go ahead and do it. But when you stay on track and now you're ready to spoon feed, because these funguses thrive off of nitrogen. So if you're giving your lawn tons of nitrogen in the season of these funguses, you can help it spread. And same thing with chinch bugs. Chinch bugs like high nitrogen. So by applying high nitrogen in the summertime, you can be creating more problems other than thatch, bugs, fungus. So there's a lot that can be going wrong with over applying that nitrogen. Now, if you see the gray leaf spot fungus, it's hard to apply preventative. If your lawn holds a lot of water and you know you battle this fungus often, go ahead and apply preventatively. But for most people, I would just recommend to apply it when you see it. Now, if you mow your own lawn, that's best, because you'll start to see your lawn and you'll know when weeds pop up, fungus, pests, and you start to see something change in a part of the lawn you didn't notice last week, and you'll be able to look up, identify what it is and treat. So if you mow your lawn, that's great. Now, if you don't mow your lawn, this is where in the summertime, you want to at least walk your lawn once or twice a week, because an issue can come up on a part of the lawn you don't see and it can spread quick. And don't forget, as we get into the summer, it's a lot harder for your lawn to recover and bounce back from constant issues. So make sure you're walking and checking the yard for these issues. Now for fungus, check out I have a video all about gray leaf spot fungus for St. Augustine grass. Check that out and I'll tell you exactly what product, how much to use and when, and all those details. Now for weeds, I recommend spot treating weeds every 45 to 60 days. Like I said, if you mow your lawn, you'll see weeds and know when you need to get out and start treating them. But more important than that, to make sure your post-emergent selective herbicide is safe to use in the summer heat. Some of the herbicides you were using in the wintertime may have heat restrictions on them. So when you go to apply them in the summer, you can burn and stress and damage the lawn. So please be sure to make sure you're checking those labels for heat restrictions when treating weeds in the summertime. And then also another big one, this is very relevant for Florida. Almost all of April, Florida has gotten no rain. Lawns are drought stressed and struggling. So if your lawn is drought stressed, and especially if you have watering restrictions, don't apply weed control while the lawn is stressed. That's gonna add more stress on it, even if it is the right weed control. You wanna wait till we get rain, until you're able to water enough, the lawn recovers before you can apply that weed control. And don't forget, after a drought, lots of rain comes, that usually flares up fungus because fungus sits on the dead leaf blades. So if we're gonna get a lot of rain after this big drought, that gray leaf spot fungus is gonna be very active. You wanna keep fungicide handy. Please watch my gray leaf spot video so you can know what fungicide to use and when. And guys, that's gonna be it for May. Summer is right around, in South Florida, summer's here, but for most of us, summer is right around the corner. And right now, we want to get things right with pests and weeds and everything like that, because as it gets hotter and hotter, more problems are going to arise, or if we let a problem get too big, it's going to be more difficult to recover. So let's keep an eye on that lawn. I appreciate all the support. Like and subscribe, leave comments below with any questions, and check out bettercallchad.com. Everyone have a great rest of your day.